Redditors who have tried to hide on your cruise when it ended so that you could stay on the ship for the next round. How did that go? I don't know if this counts, but my dad got locked in a toilet cubicle on a ferry to France, and it took several people to find him. The toilet was right out of the way and you couldn't hear him yelling even right outside in the corridor because the doors were so massive. I guess he could have gone immediately back to England? Could have become a ship toilet hermit. Used to be in the USCG. We had this happen a few times in Miami. They were all escorted off the ship. Typically the police handle the situation. But if a stowaway was discovered while still in the 3 to 12 mile range, we would render assistance once they were apprehended by the onboard law enforcement. Been doing this for a couple of years now. They slapped a name tag on me, and now I work here. Late to the party, but I can chime in and further add proof if needed. I worked for Carnival for 5 years, specifically in debarkation. Additionally, I worked for Disney Cruise Line and Princess Cruise Line. Here's what happens. We give you a card upon check-in, and that card is scanned the minute you step on board. Additionally, it is scanned when you leave the ship for either complete debarkation or excursions. At the end of your cruise, debarkation starts around 7 AM. Come 10 AM we receive a list of people who have not yet had their card scanned. It's impossible to get off the boat without getting your card scanned. Unless you jump into the water. Haha. Then a man begins to get you guys off the ship so we can put a new 2200 to 2600 people on it. We do not start boarding new passengers until every card from the previous voyage has been scanned. In my experience, nobody ever waits and tries to hide. If you do take a cruise, book a flight that's a little bit later in the morning and go with the latest checkout time you can. So many people aim for debarking around 7 o'clock to 9 AM. Literally over 1700 people will be waiting in lines that'll take well over an hour to get out of. Instead of waiting in line for the hour, stay on board and eat some breakfast. Take some last minute photos. And then when your time comes just leave. Go through customs. And be on your merry way. I'm the one-stop redditor for all cruising tips. Haha. Boarded for a trip from Southampton to Queenstown. Stayed on to get to New York. All was good until we hit a damn iceberg. Been 107 years and still haven't docked. Fucking sucks, man. At least the water is heating up finally though. It is all electronic card swipe now. Everyone monitored all the time. All of the japes and scrapes of being a stowaway. One step ahead of the stewardess in the past now. I worked for Carnival. We will find you. We know you're in the ship. And we'll want you to get off, so I can take a short nap, before I have to do it all over again in a few hours. Not me but. A couple decided to hide to try get another week out of their holiday. This was while we were halfway through our holiday. So we heard it all. Dozens of announcements calling for them or anyone who's seen them were made throughout the day. Their rooms were searched and everything they owned in that room was seized. Apparently, the ship left port late by about 90 minutes. But they were eventually found and escorted off the ship when the crew decided to check the identity of every passenger on board. A little different. I was going through a really hard bout with depression in 2012 and really had nothing going on in life besides an overpass job at a gym. My parents decided to do a family cruise in March as our Christmas present. I was actually planning on saying goodbye to my family at the end of the trip and just getting off at the last island and not getting back on. Then I found out the cruise company would alert local authorities that I didn't get back on. I wanted to just island skip for a while instead of backpacking through Europe to do some thinking and adventuring. I didn't want to end up in some shitty Caribbean jail. Day 247. They still don't realize. I have been living off of seawater and Ritz crackers for the past month. I can't let them see me in the cafeteria. People tell me all the time, dude, just leave the boat, but none of them understand. Using the quarters I find on the ground, I was finally able to pay my cell phone bill again today. I got a text from some guy named Boss, dumb name, telling me that he's gonna put me in a thing of fire. Whatever. Probably insane. I got a scam text from some guy named Jane calling me husband. And from police. Regardless. I'm probably gonna fry up the phone battery for more fire today. I sometimes wonder what life is like outside of the ship, but quickly dismiss those thoughts after I realize that there is no such thing as living outside of the ship. Around day 50 or 60, people in blue coats began to harass me, saying that I must go or they're gonna find me or something. They're probably just heroin addicts, though they scared me enough to go incognito until they're gone. I don't know if this counts, but on the last night of a cruise my friends and I got really drunk. Well, I don't know how the hell, but I ended up somewhere passengers shouldn't be, in a goddamn supply closet I believe. The ship had docked and there was a 2-hour search for me. Still drunk, I couldn't find a way to get out to the room where the supply closet was, but the door was locked. The crew thought I was trying to sneak another ride, but after reviewing the cameras they clearly could tell I was nowhere near sober. So they let me go on my way with a good laugh. To this day I still don't remember making my way down there. I found some crew clothing in the laundry and put it on. The crew was changing out at the last stop so nobody would recognize my new face. In the 2 days between the ending of one round and the start of the next leg I found myself enjoying the nods from other crew members and a level of respect I wasn't used to having dressed as a normal passenger. I decided that I would chat up some of the bar staff and see if I'd have any luck getting free drinks. After a few beers, this new bartender came on. An old British guy. Looked like he'd seen some stuff. He had a nickname for everyone. Governor, amigo, pal, comrade. I guess he'd really traveled a lot. He kept serving me drinks with a sly wink, like from one old sea dog to another. It came time to settle my bill, as the ship was prepping for departure, and when I went to give him money, sure enough, he told me I didn't have to pay. No sir, he said. This one's on me. Captain, no trouble at all. Good luck getting us out of dock. And he pointed over my shoulder with his chin. I turned around, and the rest of the bridge crew was there with a security detail. I'm a stand-up comic who works on cruise ships 3 to 4 months out of the year. Guests who take forever to leave suck. Employees of the ship can't leave until every last guest has exited the vessel. So if the guest is taking their time to leave or hiding, they are potentially keeping over 100 employees from going home. And many of the employees are on the ship for like 8 months. So every second counts when they just want to get off and start heading home. Get the fuck off the boat. I think a lot of you guys are underestimating how easy this would actually be. They count people. There are 2,000 passengers on a decent sized cruise ship. And at no point was everyone funneled through any sort of checkpoint, except when getting on and off the ship. You have to swipe a card, yeah, to buy something, or get into a room. You don't have to swipe it to go to the buffet, or get into the theater. A cruise ship is the size of multiple city blocks when you add up all the deck space. And there are 2,000 people walking around with no ID on them. If you wanted to stay on the ship, you could 100% do it without all that much difficulty. Your only real challenge would be finding somewhere to sleep that didn't get you harassed. Ships tend to have really good tracking of their packs. There's security cameras everywhere, and when you disembark they give the ship a really good walkthrough. All the passenger areas are easy to see through and have no hiding places, and if a pax were to be in a crew area, it happened every now and then, we would notice immediately. I've never had passengers try to stow away, but I've definitely seen crew run away from the ship. Mostly happens in American ports. Personally, when I was working on ships I couldn't wait to get the fuck off them every time I saw land. Why people cruise to begin with is beyond my comprehension. My friend did this. He can't handle his drink and we were on a mini cruises from Newcastle to Amsterdam. After a good few drinks he loses it. Rips a table from the wall and throws it away. Took his top off as well as another friend's top and threw them overboard shouting "Wee-I-I-I-I-I-I." He was quickly sent to the brig and had his passport confiscated, meaning he couldn't get back on the boat after our day in Amsterdam. So he tried to hide under the bed. According to his story he couldn't fit, so his feet were sticking out a bit, and said he got caught straight away. They threw him off, and we never seen him that day. Imaginably when we got back on the boat to no friend under the bed, we were concerned. We chose his closest friend to call his dad to say we have lost your son Mayo, and his answer was, oh I know, we booked him a flight. Turns out he ventured off the boat in a panic. Somehow managed to find a British embassy and explained his situation. Not sure how, but they organized him to fly home without a passport. Every time I see him, I ask him to tell me the story again for a laugh.